From 12 News, this is Newsmakers.
Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White alongside 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi. This week, we're going to talk about some important bills surrounding transparency at the State House. Our guest this week, Mr. Transparency himself, the executive director of Cause Rhode Island, John Marion. John, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks.
Let's start with the Law Enforcement Officer Bill of Rights. People at home know it as LEOBOR. We've done a lot of reporting on a bill that is reforming that law. And this, of course, is a law that governs how police misconduct is investigated and disciplined. As we reported this week, there's language in the reform bill that would require police chiefs to withhold body-worn camera video in minor violations of police misconduct. You were a part of a group that urged lawmakers to fix that. We should note it passed the House and the bill is now in the Senate. What's wrong with it?
Yeah, so there's a broader effort to reform LEOBOR. We're not involved in the broader effort, but one of the things that broader effort was trying to do is lift a gag order that police chiefs are under when an officer has a misconduct allegation. Mm-hmm. And so it lifts the gag order for major violations, but for so-called minor violations in the law, there would still be a gag order in place. And there's language in the bill for those minor violations that says that the police chief or their designee is prohibited from releasing video evidence of the misconduct, which I read as including body-worn camera images. It could be other video evidence, but would include body-worn camera images. I think it's pretty apparent that the people who reached the compromise weren't thinking about that based on the floor debate. There were some representatives who kind of asked some questions before they voted against the bill, and it came out in the debate that body-worn camera images would be prohibited from release. That's a terrible thing, right? Because that policy is brand new, just a couple of years old, and it's body-worn camera images are there for the public to decide whether the police engaged in some sort of misconduct. So if they're prohibited from releasing it, the public can't come to any conclusions. So ultimately, it sort of undermines the recent other policing reform in the name of new reform.
Well, what's interesting to me is that, I've seen this movie before where they pass something and maybe don't quite know the implications of it, and the bill sails through so quickly that in the time between House and Senate passage, a controversy bubbles up, which is where we are right now. I know when we've talked as the Senate's supposed to take up this bill, they say they're looking at this. I have no doubt you're hearing things. You might be part of conversations. I mean, what's your sense of where leadership is? Do they feel like this is something they actually have to change if they're going to get this bill all the way through into the governor's desk?
Yeah, my sense is that there is this hard-fought compromise, right, between police and activists on these broader issues, and they don't want to unwind that compromise. And any change to the bill could sort of unravel the compromise.
Pandora's box, kind of, you reopen it.
And then we had a handshake, and then you went back on your handshake, and the whole thing falls apart. So they don't want to tinker with it. But I think there's a pause happening because nobody really thought about this from this angle. And my hope is that we're seeing the Senate sort of slow walk it. There was talk that they were going to do it right away this week, and as of this taping, they haven't taken it up. So I think there are some internal discussions about trying to fix this.
And we should note, we are talking on a Thursday afternoon. A lot of people are watching this on a Sunday morning. A new bill could have been proposed either in the Senate or if they are going to change the House one, which means they have to, if they change a comma, if they change a period in this thing, it wasn't a unanimous vote in the House, they're going to have to revisit it. One of the things that stood out to me in reading the legislation was the law did not define minor. So video of minor infractions shall be withheld, meaning you can't release that video. Did it come up on the floor as to what minor meant? Yeah,
there was a little discussion. The proponents, the people who reached the compromise, the floor manager, talked a lot about, an officer forgets to wear their hat. That's a violation of departmental policy. They get written up. That's minor.
Alert, we don't want video of an officer who forgot to wear their hat. Let's just be clear about that.
Yeah, but what we have to go on is the law very explicitly says what is major, right? It's certain felonies. So, anything that's not major is sort of by definition minor. And that's, that could be a lot of things that we would consider misconduct that might not necessarily be a felony that is going to be charged.
Well, and I actually, I'll put Tim on the spot just for a sec, because I don't cover law enforcement day to day, but like as someone who covers police closely, does something come to mind to you that might be a minor infraction where there would be a public outcry to see the body-worn camera video, but this might be part of it?
My concern is the vast majority of police misconduct would fall under this minor category, because as John just said, major would be if someone is charged with a crime, if a police officer is charged with a crime, and anything short of that would be under the category minor. And I think about the example that the groups put out in the letter, which was, a police officer has an adverse interaction with a member of the public and treats them disrespectfully, or swears at them, and maybe it's repeat violations, but they get a summary suspension of 2 days unpaid. That is below that threshold. That would no question that would fall under minor. And so that interaction that the member of the public had, even if that person wanted it, forget about reporters, even if that person wanted it, would fall under that minor category. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, and it just really just sort of undermines the whole point of having the body camera,
right.
Because ultimately it's the police that are making the decision of whether to charge or not. So it's saying sort of like, trust the police to police the police. And in which case they're going to withhold that video.
I guess
are required to withhold that video.
To take the devil's advocate argument, this is a brave new world where police officers are on camera constantly in their interactions. I'm not saying that's good or bad, just that's true. And what you hear from the police unions is they say, well, officers shouldn't necessarily, the rest of us don't have to wear cameras all day long on every interaction we have with everyone, our good moments or bad moments, and this should be reserved for a higher, a more major situation where this comes out. What do you say to that kind of argument? That the bar should be high for release?
I don't think so. Police have, carry guns. The rest of us don't carry guns as part of our job. They have the ability to, put us in jail and suspend our rights unilaterally. So, on a moment's notice. So police, have extra scrutiny because they have extra power over our daily lives. And, it's just, the body-worn cameras are so new that I'm not sure, have sort of settled into an understanding of what we're going to see. We've seen good behavior by police departments releasing lots of footage in major high-profile incidents so far, but we don't know how it's going to shake out in the next couple of years. So why withhold stuff so soon?
We're going to go to a break soon, John, but before we do, I had reached out earlier this week to Attorney General Peter Nerona's office because he had promulgated rules with body-worn cameras that explicitly said the video falls under the Access to Public Records Act. In other words, they're a public record and subject to disclosure. And wanted to know how his office felt about it. They responded several days later. They're looking at it, and if they feel like they need to make a recommendation to the General Assembly, that could have already happened as of this taping, that they're going to do so. But to be clear, my reading is, and I'm curious of yours, this LEOBOR, the language in LEOBOR specific to body-worn camera videos would likely usurp APRA because the public records law doesn't specifically address police videos. This does.
Yeah, and to be clear, the compromise language doesn't speak to body-worn cameras. It speaks broader to video, and there could be other video. There could be surveillance video that exists that has to be withheld under this. But yeah, my understanding, non-lawyer understanding, right, is that the very specific LEOBOR compromise bill, APRA would sort of have to yield to that because APRA is a general statute.
Why don't we talk about APRA when we come back, because there is some language in there, if passed, in a reform bill that might address it. And we want to talk about the possibility of expanding the number of magistrate judges in Rhode Island. Stay with us. You're watching Newsmakers. Welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White alongside Ted Nesi. Our guest this week is the Executive Director of Common Cause Rhode Island, John Marion. Ted?
John, you've been sounding off about something that I know viewers might find a little arcane, but I'm interested because I know others have also expressed concern about this. Years ago, Rhode Island voters put in this judicial nominating commission to vet candidates to become judges. Lawmakers, seemingly because they don't like not being able to put whatever they want in, created a separate track of judicial officers, magistrates, who don't get vetted by the JNC, and they've been growing and growing and growing. And this has been a perennial fight for years. But right now, as I understand it, I was reading a Katie Mulvaney journal story about this. The family court wants to let magistrates do whole trials, which sounds like what a judge does. I don't at that point see how much difference there is between a magistrate who hasn't been vetted by the JNC and a regular judge. A, why does this alarm you for the person who might think it sounds a little arcane? And B, why is this happening?
Yeah, so it's the question's kind of coming up now because actually a family court magistrate did hold a trial on a contested divorce case. And somebody raised it to the Rhode Island Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that issue's not before us right now, but interesting. And the very next day, the family court introduced a piece of legislation that said, you know what, let's give them the power, these family court magistrates, to hold trials in contested divorce cases.
Chief Judge Michael Fort put this forward.
Chief Judge Michael Fort put the legislation in, and it's passed. The House hasn't moved in the Senate yet. It's important because there were decades of scandals in the Rhode Island judiciary. 2 chief justices of the Supreme Court resigned.
That famous photo outside the motel.
Yep, resigned. And so the people of Rhode Island changed the state constitution to create a more transparent process, right? This judicial nominating merit selection process, where the interviews occur in public members who don't like somebody who's interviewing can go testify against somebody for a lifetime appointment on the bench, and they do. Members of the public do show up and testify against these folks. And then there's a public vote of who gets sent to the governor, and the governor gets to pick. Magistrates, largely a very opaque process. Usually it's the chief judge of the specific court who picks them. So in this case, the head of the family court picks the family court magistrates.
And let's be honest, calls are made about who legislative leaders would like to get magistrate positions.
Are you saying it's a political process?
It's a shocking development, but there seems to be politics at the State House.
Yeah, and sure enough, back in the late 90s, then Speaker Harwood's wife magically became a magistrate. And we can point to various legal counsels for speakers of the House over the years, close political allies, former legislators. And then they've sort of used it.
To be clear, could go through the JNC process.
Yep, and often then do to become a judge.
A Superior Court judge.
And they use it as kind of a stepping stone to become a judge. So it's a less transparent process. It's a seemingly a more political process. And that is sort of an end run around what the people voted to put in the state constitution in 1994. But all along, we've been told, yeah, but magistrates aren't judges. But now comes along the family court and says, well, we want to give them all the powers of judges, right? Before, we were always just told, well, magistrates, it's about bail, it's about these, hearing motions. But now they're holding trials. And in fact, the decisions of the family court magistrate are appealed to the chief of the family court who appoints them. And so it's really just a thumb in the eye of the voters of Rhode Island.
Why not just expand the number of judges that can hold trial at family court?
It's a good question. I've heard over the years, magistrates, it's just sort of more flexible, they're cheaper, their pensions are smaller, so it's just a more efficient thing to do in a cheaper avenue. I would argue it's just a more political avenue.
All right, I do want to get to this. We have maybe a minute and a half left before we have to let you go, John. The Access to Public Records Act, we referenced it in the first half. There's 2 reform bills, Senate Finance Committee Chair Lou DePalma's bill, and then the House Oversight Committee Chair Patricia Serpa has one forward. So just by the nature of who proposed it, seems to have a little juice. What is the outlook for APRA reform?
Yeah, I think, things are still alive. We've got about a month to go in the session. The chairman, DePalma, has told us, he's still working very hard to make sure it's a priority of the Senate. As you know, many of the bigger, more controversial bills are kind of held at the end of the session in the closing week, sometimes right after the budget. So
this one has huge pushback from the administration.
Yeah. So no public pushback,
and law enforcement.
But lots of pushback. We're hopeful that maybe once the LEOBOR issue gets settled, law enforcement can then sort of focus on this, and we can reach some sort of compromise. But yeah, I think it's still very
late.
Much alive.
It sounds like a late session based on what you just said. That.
Yeah. I mean, we're being told June 14th is when they're going to try to get out, so we don't have a lot of time left. But hopefully, this is one of the bigger things they try to tackle.
They always like to get out early in election years.
They sure do.
John Marion from Cause Rhode Island. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Stay with us. You're watching Newsmakers. When we come back, stunning findings from a 2-year federal investigation into DCYF. We're going to be joined by Eli Sherman from the Target 12 investigators. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White alongside Ted Nesi. We are joined for this Reporters Roundtable by Target 12 investigator Eli Sherman. On Monday, Rhode Island U.S. Attorney Zachary Cunha announced the findings of a 2-year federal investigation into DCYF, where they found the agency sent hundreds of children with behavioral disabilities to Bradley Hospital for months-long stays, in some cases, as we learned, Eli, for more than a year. Eli and I covered that press conference on Monday. At one point, the U.S. Attorney was asked whether this was a resource problem for DCYF. Here's what he had to say.
This is not a problem that can be solved by building more bed capacity. The problem is the use of hospitalization when less restrictive means are available and necessary, like community care, like therapeutic foster care, settings that don't involve actually confining a child to a hospital.
Are those services available, though?
They are available. And in fact, one of the things that we detail in our letter of findings is that the state has developed these programs in many cases, but it either hasn't funded them, it's reduced the funding to them, or it's prioritized the easy solution of putting children in a hospital setting rather than in a community setting.
So as I said, that press conference was on Monday. Eli, taping here on a Thursday afternoon, Cunha gave the state a 10-business day, I believe, deadline to get back to him and said, yeah, we'll work with you on a potential fix. We haven't heard as of this taping if that has happened. What was your takeaway when you sat in that room?
I think my biggest takeaway was that Cunha said you're breaking the law and you need to fix it. And he is giving them the opportunity to work with the feds to fix this issue together. Or he said, pretty plainly to us that he's prepared to file a federal lawsuit, which could
civil rights lawsuit, which could spark just a litany of problems for the state. This is the third time that the feds have come in to this state under the Olmstead Act, which is what he says that they're violating. Which requires that you provide care in community-based settings, essentially, which they're not doing. So, but why? So let's say, just to ask the question, a lot of people at home, they're going to say, well, wait a minute. DCYF sent kids to a hospital for behavioral disabilities. They stayed there for a long time. Why is that not care?
Because when you go to a hospital, you're supposed to be treated and released. And in this situation, they're sending children with developmental and behavioral disabilities to a hospital.
Some as young as 4.
Some as young as 4, and they're leaving them there. And the most egregious example that the U.S. Attorney gave was a 9-year-old who spent over 2 years in this facility, Bradley Hospital, over 5 different admissions. And it essentially is saying to that child, we have nowhere else that we are willing to put you. And it's a huge issue in this state. It's been a huge issue for a long time, and it predominantly affects young girls because there are some beds in the state in community-based settings for boys, but there aren't enough for girls. And what ends up happening is we either send them out of state, pay an exorbitant amount of money as taxpayers, or we put them in a hospital and we forget about it.
Which is why there's been this push for multiple years now to open up an in Rhode Island residential treatment facility for young girls, but it's hit repeated. This is the other thing with DCYF. Even when they're and this is what drives lawmakers nuts sometimes when you talk to them. They feel like they do think they've addressed some of this. They've put money up. They've authorized something like the residential treatment facility. But then it's so hard to actually stand these things up for a myriad of different problems that they run into.
Well, first of all, I do want to note that Cunha stressed that there was no wrongdoing on the part of Bradley Hospital. In this case, and in fact, he said in some instances staff would ask DCYF if they could discharge these kids, and it fell on deaf ears. But I did want to ask you, Ted, you sort of touched on it. When you listen to Cunha talk there and talk about there has to be a fix to this problem, I wonder if ears at the State House perk up and go, this is going to mean more money when we're trying to fix a bridge or whatever other interests they have.
It certainly sounded to me, and I haven't fully reported this out, so I want to hedge just a little, but this seemed to take the State House by surprise. This doesn't seem like Cunha had kind of telegraphed and prepackaged
Not
this
that this
for them.
was happening, but that Cunha got
Correct.
involved.
Not that they, you two reported in 2020 on these kids being institutionalized at Bradley and not even going to school, right? So no one can say this was a secret. But the fact that Cunha was going to come out and say with 10 days notice that you have to have a plan on how to fix this that I'm satisfied with, that took people by surprise. And you can't get away from the timing of this, right? Also this week, we got the quarterly budget report saying the state's on track to have about $80 million extra to write the budget over the coming weeks as the legislative session wraps up. Well, I'm not saying Cunha said, oh, well, they'll get their surplus number and I'm going to make clear that same week you have to put it toward DCYF. But that's what they're discussing right now. And my understanding as of today, Thursday, when we're taping, is that DCYF is still trying to develop what funding they will need. And I don't know, it could be from what Cunha is saying that they need a modest amount of funding because they have programs, they just need some more money in them, some more of that. Or it could be that he's going to want to see a much more aggressive effort that could cost a lot more. There's just a lot of uncertainty at crunch time for the budget. Let's
give people with a minute left here, Eli, a sense as to how frequently this happens. I threw out hundreds, blah, blah, blah. So this looked at the time period of 2017 to 2022. Cunha said they wanted to do that to make sure there wasn't any sort of effect from the pandemic. They wanted to look outside the pandemic. But that was 2 years ago. Do we have a sense of 2022 to 2024 if this is still happening?
Yeah, I asked that question, that very question, to the U.S. Attorney, and while they did look at that window, he pointed to some data that comes out monthly from DCYF, and part of that data shows how many children are currently in a psychiatric hospital setting. They're being placed there. That number has been pretty consistent at between 30 and 40, and just this last month it jumped from 35 to 50. So he said, look at these numbers. It seems pretty clear to me that this is an issue that has not gone away.
All right. Well, this is one obviously we're going to track in the coming weeks, and if you want to catch our full reporting, you can see it on WPRI.com. You heard Ted talk about it right there. Eli and I reported on behavioral disability, kids with behavioral disabilities at Bradley Hospital back in 2020 who are not receiving any education. We have a link to that in the article from Monday's story. Eli Sherman, thanks so much for joining us. Ted Nesi, John Marion was our guest on the first half. If you missed that, it's on WPRI.com. I'm Tim White. We'll see you next week on Newsmakers.